Greg Feek, the scrum coach, has been chatting about Robbie Henshaw this morning. Have a look.
Yeah, so Robbie's looking unlikely for this weekend, obviously. But obviously we just got back from training and we're still sorting things out. But yeah, I think it's reasonably positive in terms of what we saw. So, you know, some of these guys, day by day, week by week, things can improve dramatically than the average human. So we'll just take it like that at the moment. We'll see how it goes over the next few days and then maybe reassess in the not too distant future.
Greg, can we say whether it's a grade 1, 2, 3, 1?
Not at this stage. Yeah, we just don't want to. It's kind of. I haven't been given the full brief on whether I can say that, so I'm better off not.
You generally wouldn't share that level of detail for any injury information.
Okay.
But he is not going to be returning to Ireland. That's not a risk.
Yeah. So you're stocked up enough, no matter what, that you can kind of carry a guy like Robbie because of your other centres. You feel like you can carry him for whatever amount of time.
Yeah, I mean, as you know, our collective has always been something we pride ourselves on, and we back everybody to fill a spot. The beauty is, in this time, every 4 years, you get to spend a lot of pre-season together as well. So everyone knows their roles really well. So you know, and that's what happens. We just got to back whatever happens in terms of personnel.
What's the best case scenario for Robbie featuring on the pitch in the match?
In terms of games or how long?
Which game would he be targeting?
I know what game he'd be targeting. Do you know what I mean? And again, you know, it's still early days. You know, we still have hopes for next week. You know, so we'll just, like I said, we'll just go day by day at this stage, and then you'll probably get a better update after this weekend.
Yeah, so Greg Feek trying not to give too much away there. Not really sure what I'm allowed to say was basically what he was saying. But they seem positive about Robbie Henshaw all of a sudden. As in, like,
I think
he's not coming home anyway.
Yeah, the scan obviously showed that there's not a huge amount of damage done, and if there was, he would be replaced, you know, if it was a significant tear. So he'll miss the Scottish game, and he may be back after that. They're not under as much pressure after that, the same type of pressure, even though Japan will be tricky. And if you could get him back for Russia or something like that, it'd be a bonus for him. But
it's a month to the quarter-final. Am I tempting fate here by looking forward to the weekend of the 19th of October? That's the quarter-final weekend.
Yeah, but if he's only tweaked it, he might only be 2 weeks, you know. He might be as long. And I think they might be, that's probably the information that they're getting. If he was bad, he's gone. That's it. You can't afford to just, at this stage, you can't afford to be
carrying people. Yeah,
too long. If it was a doubt that it could be 4 to 6 weeks, he's gone.
Yeah.
So they obviously have information that it might only be 2 to 3, something in around that. And he might do rehab this week, and he may train the following week. So that's obviously what they're, you know, he's not giving a lot away there because he can't really. Sometimes there is a bit of a chance here with this. And he's had issues with the hamstring before. I don't know if it's the same one or another one. But
it's a tricky injury as well.
It is.
Some lads react differently to physio and stuff and can get quicker. You know,
I pulled a hamstring, I'd say, once in my life. I wasn't moving quick enough to probably damage my hamstrings. But I remember I played Leinster one time.
Plenty of other lads' hamstrings,
in the old Lansdowne Road, and I felt a tear or pull or something, and there was bruising on it, so there was definitely something done. And I played 2 weeks later. It was like, I just, you know, it wasn't significant damage. It was obviously just a few fibres around the hamstring. Obviously, if you pull the main body of the hamstring, you can't just come back after 2 weeks. So he would hope it's something like that. And I think Joe was saying that he wasn't going full tilt. That he
when it happens,
kind of stopped up. You know, when you're going full tilt, it's different. If you get that pull, it's
pops, yeah.
There's obviously a bigger, but it's bad news and it's disappointing because I think, and it's amazing the way things change. You know, everyone's saying Henshaw, Aki for that first Scottish game, and like, would you have any issue with Gary Ringrose slipping in there? You know what I mean? And probably some would argue that for that bit of creativity that he probably should start anyway. Yeah. And so it's not a major issue. I think it's a disappointment because I love the way Henshaw plays. He's all action. He's covering defence is phenomenal, and I think there's a real hunger and desire for him to try and get back and play regularly, and he affects games, you know. So he's a loss, and he's a leader for that team. But they have a bit of cover, which is good.
Yeah.
Good cover.
Yeah. In fairness, then the fact that they have 4 centres in the squad now looks like.
Yeah, and people spoke, Gerard, beforehand about maybe should you only bring 3 centres and more backfield players. I think the option of putting one of them out in the wing or full back is easier than bringing someone in to the centre. You know what I mean? We know Keith Earls can play in the centre as well. Larimer can play in the centre, but I'd rather be putting fellas out than bringing them in from the outer channels.
Yeah. Okay, I wanted to ask you about a couple of things that happened over the weekend as well. Most notably your column on Saturday, which pointed out the long history of doping in South African rugby and how it is an issue that we should be talking about. It is a bit mad that this kind of bubbles under the surface in South African rugby, and then it flares up obviously when one of their players recently gets popped for the description was a cocktail of substances, and it's no big deal. It's kind of like
and we can talk. We can talk about it now, because I think with the first sample, the A sample, you have to give guys the benefit of the doubt to get the second sample tested, you know, because sometimes it can possibly be a mistake or something gone wrong. The second sample comes back the same result. So I think he's still pleading his innocence, and I don't know, it just hit me because, you know, look, I've people often, and this is a very debatable subject, because people on the outside say, well, rugby players, there's doping in rugby. And there probably is. I'm sure there is. There's absolutely no doubt there is. I've never seen it throughout my time, and people then say, oh, Quinlan never saw doping. But what did they want me to say? I saw doping. Well, I'm out of the game now, and like...
The thing is, you wouldn't see it unless you were doing it yourself with a mate, right?
Yeah, and but but Gerard, the other thing, and Raj said this before, if you were with a group of people for 10, 12 years... Like I was there 15 years, Rog was there probably the same. There's a group there that's there for so long, particularly in Munster. We're training together all the time, we're in the gym together all the time. What I was trying to make the point was, like, if somebody's lifting 120 bench press or 130 bench press, and they come back, and that's their max, and we all know, because we're competitive and we're trying to get the extra 2.5 kilos, and the gym is a competitive place as well. And somebody comes back to fall a few months later and they're lifting 160, 170. Well, then you go, what the hell is going on here? Based on my experience, I never saw that kind of massive gains, or somebody didn't come back after pre-season and go, Jesus, he has gone huge, like. And like, I can't say it any differently. Is there guys that maybe in that group that could have taken something? There's always a possibility, for sure. There's guys, probably, is there guys in the Irish team at the moment? Of course there is. I don't know the details of the masking agents, and, you know, you'd have to get a medical person on to describe what you can take and what you can't take. And I never went and kind of educated myself on that, because I didn't
feel the need to.
Didn't need to. Why would I? I do know that the testing has increased by the IRFU. And to be fair to them, and I've no skin in the game with the RFU, the user pay system, which is an extra payment system that you can bring in, they are using that. So they're paying the user pay system, they're investing money to do extra tests aside from Sport Ireland.
Yeah.
Okay. There's a debate.
What does that involve?
It involves basically additional tests. Right. So the standard number of tests that Sport Ireland do, the random tests, the user pay system can target as well. So if Anthony Miles is, after making this big increase, you can be targeted. Your name can be given to the user pay system through Sport Ireland as well.
Will foot the bill for that testing.
They pay extra for it.
And who would give my name? Can that be like? Would that be a bit of a, you know, listen?
Well,
I
it
think
could
you
be
should
someone
test
in the
this guy
RFU.
here.
Yeah, it could be officials in the RFU, and so you can target, or they can specifically say. Like, I would have been tested a lot. I don't know why they were testing me, because I didn't have the body of a kind of a bodybuilder or someone who made all these gains.
Your hamstring recovery.
The hamstring recovery, yeah, the powers. But, you know, I just randomly got tested, and, you know, I didn't, you know, a number of times. Most of the guys would have probably been tested 4 or 5 times throughout their number of years or whatever. which people will argue that's not a lot. I was tested out of competition a few times. I was in Clonakilty one time in the Inchydoney Hotel for a few days. I got tested down there. It was a random test.
Was it really random, or did they let you know in advance? Was there a tip of it?
There was no, because when you and what changed throughout, probably not in the earlier days, what changed over a number of years was basically you have to fill out a form.
The whereabouts form, yeah.
If you're unavailable, if you're not at your house, you have to let them know. Holidays, places you go in Ireland, and that happens. But look, there is no doubt, and a few people tweeted me after the weekend saying, well, just because we have had no positive high-profile tests in Ireland
doesn't mean we're clean.
Yeah, look, but there's two questions there I would ask, Ger. Does it mean we're clean, or does it mean we're adhering to anti-doping here? Like, there's no doubt about it that everybody is not probably clean.
No, I would say
the vast majority, I would say a high number are, and I'd say people were criticising then, a few South African people tweeted me saying, well, your target specifically kind of gone on about a photo that was there. I'm not. Hit the Google button for anyone that doesn't know, and you will see a list of high-profile international rugby players who have failed drugs tests. Hit the Google button for Ireland and you'll see none. Now, some people said to me about Frankie Sheehan as well. Some people tweeted, and he was cleared on appeal, and it was proven that it was the form was not filled out properly by the doctor.
So he should have had a TUE but didn't, was the...
Yeah, basically, and he had him he had him right up to that. That was against Toulouse in a semi-final. So it's a very debatable subject. My point is, when it continuously keeps happening in South Africa, there's an issue there.
Yeah.
So argue whatever you want, say, I haven't a clue.
What if they win the World Cup and we're like...
But it's not suggesting that group were all...
No, it's not.
And
but
none of them maybe are.
The rugby culture that they represent.
And Ger, when you have 14-year-olds taking steroids in South Africa, which has happened, the Craven Week, the Schools Week. So don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that this South African team, and you know, you can make gains in gyms, you can condition your body, you can get six-packs, you can make... through incredible training, you can.
So, some people can, Alan.
But is the picture, the which I'm sure you're talking about, like, is that just bad taste, or is it stupidity, or is it kind of like, well, actually, do you know what? Look at us.
The people are saying that I'm talking because of it. I'm not talking because of any picture.
Yeah,
I'm talking because the 2018 Young Player of the Year,
the breakout
tested positive for a concoction of steroids in his system. And you, as I said, hit the Google button, you'll see a list, and repeat offenders. There's a couple of them there who've been tested failed drugs test twice, and they've gone back playing. It's unbelievable. You know, we saw with Gerban Grobler last year, came to Munster. And you know what? I gave him credit at the time. One of the few who put the hands up and said, yes, I am guilty.
Can I just say...
It's not in my toothpaste, it's not in my meat, it's not in my supplements.
Can I just say he didn't put his hands up properly? He put his hands up and said, I didn't...
He didn't say where he got it. You'd love to say, yeah, but I suppose...
Who gave it to him? How many other of his teammates were doing it? He did none of that.
Absolutely.
So...
Right. Exactly, but...
Now that you brought it up, right?
How many people do say, though...
The IRFU signed a known doper from South Africa and injected him into Irish rugby culture on purpose.
Okay.
That's what they did.
That's I can't defend that. That's what that happened. But how many people...
Are we going to sign Deanti now?
Ger.
He's going to be great in 4 years' time.
The question I ask is, how many people who fail drugs tests actually hold their hands up?
Well, he didn't.
He admitted it.
Yeah, but he didn't.
I mean, when you get caught, how many of them say...
So very few.
I took
very few. So very few. Everybody says, look, it was contaminated.
Most of them, it's in your meat, supplements, toothpaste.
Yeah.
I read some athlete recently saying that he got it from particles in the air, some runner or sprinter in America.
Yeah, didn't somebody get it from kissing somebody one time as well? Yeah. Wasn't there?
So, look, it's not.
There's a lot of no-nos there.
Yeah. So look, I will be concerned if South Africa win this World Cup that there's a system which is producing teenagers who think that they need to dope to get into it.
6 positive drug tests in 2018 at Craven Week out of 122 tested. 6 positive tests. And this is not just a a shock system over the years, 3, 4, 5 every year.
Look, my
when
thing in this...
17, 18-year-olds testing. Somebody asked me also about the school system. The school system here in Ireland, you probably need more tests, but the tests have increased and they are being tested. They're being tested? They are, yeah. I can give you the numbers if you want. Have we time?
Does World Rugby also test on it, or is it down to the actual specific
So at
countries?
the tournament now, World Rugby, EPCR will test as well in Europe, but internally in Ireland, it's Sport Ireland that do the tests here in the schools.
I thought schools were somehow out of the system.
No, they're not. There's
I thought the schools players could only be tested at the provinces, that they're not actually getting tested at the schools during the games. Is that not right?
I don't know the specifics of that. I just have the numbers for the amount of schools players who have been tested in 2017. For the last couple of years, you could argue they need to increase. They have increased though, and this isn't me painting this, covering over this dark cloud and saying it doesn't go on. It's probably gone on. There's a big problem in rugby, Ger, with amateur players who are maybe trying to make the leap up, and I would be very concerned about the school level. That jump up now to be the next Sexton, Murray, to make $500,000 a year, it's enticing, you know, and if there's, you know, people will cheat.
Oh, look, it makes
but
sense.
I don't think we have a systematic drug problem here.
I'd say we definitely have a problem, though. And
I think there's a problem in South Africa, and that's proven by what you see.
I think it's the right thing to do is to be sceptical until
I'll tell you a quick
wrong.
one. Hendry Stanson, South African, 21-year-old, he signs for Stade Francais last year. Sensational in the top 14. Tested positive in May against Montpellier for concoction of steroids. Again, 21-year-old.
Yeah, it's pretty grim. Right, well, two quick things. Dennis Leamy is joining Leinster. Freudian slip. He's joining the Leinster backroom team.
Well, we feel that Leinster needs a few more Munster guys in there to help him a little bit more.
Are you trying to take over from the inside? Is that the idea?
We're sending him in as a spy. We're sending him in as a spy. Well, it's a great opportunity for him. You know, Dennis is someone I have incredible admiration for and respect for, and he has a lot to offer the game. And if it's true, it's Munster's loss, I think, and Leinster's gain.
We'll get Felix Jones in next.
Yeah, he could go. Yeah, for sure.
Is there a disappointment when some of your former teammates end up getting their opportunity through Munster that actually?
Yeah, look, I think a lot of the boys I would have played with, I'd love to see him back involved with Munster, but that's not always the case, and there might not be an opportunity or an opening there. So that's just the way the business. That's just the way it is now. That people move around. From
well, it's funny you talk about
and some of the coaches do.
Dublin there with Jim Gavin and the '95 team.
Yeah,
like I mean that team. Obviously, those teams you were like. I mean, from an out you're kind of going. There's some obvious people here where you just like to have around. You know, and I know you don't.
It doesn't necessarily make them good coaches either.
No, it
doesn't.
No.
And at the end of the day, you know, Munster can only. They make their own decisions, but they can only so many of them facilitate. Sure. You can't facilitate guys for the sake of. And to be fair to Dennis, he's gone like really back to grassroots rugby with Cashel, with Clonmel, Cashel, Rockwell, Garryowen, Limerick, on working with Munster then, and you know he's kind of really rolled the sleeves up, and he loves coaching. He loves being out in the field, so it's a great opportunity for him now to kind of progress his coaching career on another bit.
Yeah, no, it's great to have him back involved at that level. And then there's a baby oil story that we need to talk about, is there? Do you know anything about this? Uproarious moment at the Springbok presser as a Kiwi journalist asks, Warren Gatland has been putting baby oil in his balls. I mean, his rugby balls. Have you been doing anything similar? Wales rugby team train with balls covered in baby oil.
Oh my goodness.
Because conditions are going to be tricky at the Rugby World Cup.
Not a bad idea.
It's not a bad idea, yeah.
The humidity.
Probably too...
I'm glad it's the rugby balls.
Yeah.
I'm glad that was clarified.
Who knows? Who knows?
He did put fake tan on the Irish rugby team to go to South Africa in 2000 or in 1998.
You're kidding
to
me.
make them look bigger and get all their heads shaved.
Did he?
Most of the boys, I was on standby for that, and that was the call that the heads were going to be shaved tight and there was going to be fake tan. It wasn't compulsory, but it was suggested. So
yeah, so you would have been pre-Gavin Henson, the first proper. He just wanted to get his own done.
Championship haircut to a whole new level.
Japan. When are you heading out?
Wednesday.
Nice.
Yeah.
First class?
No, not first class.
Just business class.
Maybe business, yeah. Maybe.
The only way to go.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it now. Look, it's been incredible build-up, a long time. It's been a long time in the making, so we'll see how they get on.
Leave your earphones on, because I got one clip I want to talk to you about line-out calling, because that was obviously one of the other issues about whether or not all of the responsibility is going to fall on James Ryan or Henderson, or who actually is going to be responsible for it. Here's Simon Easterby.
We talk amongst a number of us, the line-out leaders, that will discuss the menu for each week and how that, how we'll implement that in terms of the game plan. And it's a collaborative chat about how we put that together, and then somebody's got to go and lead that. As in every part of the game, there's someone leading certain areas of the game, and line-out's no different. So yeah, it is a collaborative sort of mix of ideas, guys who have looked at the footage and have spent time sort of immersing themselves in that part of the game, and having the confidence then to speak to me and the other guys in the group with their opinions, and then we put together a plan according to what the line-out menu needs. Is it that big a deal ultimately if it is Henderson who's calling it, when they've done all that work in advance and it's kind of pre-programmed in some respects?
Well, I think the system for most international teams now, because noise in the stadiums and stuff, you can't actually walk in and make these calls. They're kind of, you see a lot of them have a little huddle and they have a call and then they have a buzzword to change it. And that's the way it probably works for most teams. I think Simon's talking about the collaborative effort and the amount of people who have input, that's very important, that people sit down. Your line-out leaders then decide your kind of menu for each game, and you try and implement it. If it breaks down, you need a kind of a plan B, and you need other options as well. Every team needs probably 3, 4, 5 banker balls that you kind of go back to. You might win it in the line-out where you want to, but you win it. Yeah. So we see a lot flat 2 if it's not being marked. If you're being marked at the middle and the tail, you want it off the top. Fly half wants the ball off the middle or the back, which is the best place to get the ball off the top and deliver it. Sometimes you just have to win it. But I think the concern is that, and look, because the stuff in England happened, I think they'll be better for it, because there'll be more responsibility. There'll be more of an onus from Simon Easterby, that guys know their role inside out. So if James Ryan is calling the lineouts now, that you need backup as well. So if he goes off, something happened to him, who steps in? Is it a smooth transition? If your second line-out caller, something happened to him, who's the third person? You need 3 or 4 guys capable of actually stepping in. And you want that, and you talk about line-out leaders. Line-out leaders are really important in the heat of the battle, because no matter whether you're Paul O'Connell or Victor Matfield or the best line-out callers ever, you still need a little bit of input. If Anthony's beside me and he gives me, look, your man is marking me at the tail, or I'm free, or keep an eye on such and such in the opposition, the lob ball over his head is on, or and you just and you trust that because it's calm, and so you need a little bit of input. They have these huddles all the time. It's obviously the hooker as well, very important. But I just think that I hope they've this stuff clarified and really nailed down, because it's such a vital area. Yeah,
Alan, good stuff. Thanks very much.
Sure.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back at the sports news with Phil. It's 20 minutes past 9 this morning.
OTB AM on OTB Sports Radio.